On April 17th, 1961, the Bay of Pigs invasion began. Supported by the U.S. and consisting of exiles from the Cuban Democratic Revolutionary Front, the invasion was an attempt to overthrow the communist rule of Fidel Castro in Cuba. Since Castro had nationalized American business in Cuba, the CIA under President Eisenhower had been plotting to overthrow the dictator. Remaining ties between the US and Cuba were completely severed when Castro reached out to the Soviet Union for aid. A group of Cuban exiles living in the US had formed a counter-revolutionary military directly connected with the DFR, dubbed Brigade 2506. The brigade received financial and military backing from the CIA, and on April 17th, 1961, launched an invasion of Cuba via the Bay of Pigs. Initially, the brigade was able to overwhelm the Cuban forces, but would soon lose the initiative. As international attention began to take notice of the invasion, President JFK withheld any further Air Force involvement by the US. With the success of the invasion plan reliant on US assistance, the invasion quickly fell apart. On April 20th, the remaining brigade forces surrendered and were imprisoned. The failure of the invasion was a heavy burden on the US, as Castro's power in Cuba was solidified and more Latin American countries began to undermine American involvement. The failed invasion would also bring Cuba closer in relation with the Soviet Union, which would result in the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962.